It's not going to happen all in the 1 week. There's a fair bit of mise en place and QC and test riding too. Every board's test ridden, then it's got to be cleaned and repackaged and sent out. So there's a bit of work, but it's all happening as of tomorrow.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Eastgate Chat podcast. We're going to be talking about the Hadeans again. A little bit different this time because we've started shipping them all over the world. What's the status? Where are we at? Who's got them? Where have they gone out?
Okay. All right. So as most people know, we have been delayed. However, the board's first batch are well underway. So shipped out in Australia. I reckon we've sent out, complete first batch will be done by next week. Here in Australia, there's already been over 300 boards out the door. So we're pretty stoked about that. Online, retailers are getting them. In our New Zealand market, everything has been shipped out. This happened about a week ago. Over in the UK, we're sort of halfway through that batch. A bunch of boards are going out to retailers and online customers right now. France and Germany are sending boards out. So if you're looking online and social media and Facebook and Insta, you're going to start seeing some pictures and videos pop up and real world feedback, which is good. USA, this has been the hardest one for us. It's been very frustrating because we've got like 3 boats that are stuck off LA at the moment. We've got all the batteries there and they've been there for weeks, but we've just been waiting for that container to go through the clearance and get delivered to our factory. So we do have an update this morning, which is good. Finally, it's actually going to be in our factory tomorrow. So that being Friday, USA time. So I dare say all the USA boards, the guys are going to be so busy next week. I do feel for them. There's going to be a lot of time spent QCing and doing the final checks and assembly. And USA will start shipping as of next week. So all those guys, thank you so much for being patient. I know it's been frustrating. We feel your pain, but at least we've got movement now. You guys will be stoked. Feedback's been great as well. So we've been so busy trying to, get these boards out the door and make sure everything's perfect. And, all our teams and in our locations have been under the pump, doing all the work. And it's just great now seeing real world feedback come in, and those people that hadn't, gone to any of these Hadean demos, and finally they might, they're probably GTR owners, or even maybe they missed the GTR series and they're from maybe like an earlier Gen 2 stage. And then, they see all of our feedback and all our marketing and people, talking about it. Then when they finally receive it, it's blowing their minds. So pretty stoked. What have you been seeing online?
I mean, I'm all over the socials, and I'm sure anyone that is in the Evolve Owners group, Evolve Owners Australia, USA, not so much USA, those guys are going to make some noise in this coming week. When we start shipping those boards, there's obviously USA is a huge market.
Yeah.
There's a lot of boards to go out. Yeah. It might take a minute to get them all out, but they'll be flowing literally in the next few days.
Exactly. It's not going to happen all in the 1 week. There's a fair bit of mise en place and QC and test riding too. Every board's test ridden, then it's got to be cleaned and repackaged and sent out. So there's a bit of work, but it's all happening as of tomorrow.
And we'll start seeing that feedback in the owners groups like pretty much immediately. I know those guys are just like so savvy, and they'll get on, give us the reviews. Yep. And that's what I've been saying. So in the owners groups, they're not Eastgate reviewers. They don't have YouTube channels, They're just like actual people.
Writers.
And they've seen all our pretty content, and they understand that people want more than that. They want to hear from someone who's legitimately purchased the board, come from an older board, different
likes
board.
And dislikes.
Yeah, and that's what we've been saying.
Real feedback.
And I mean, that's really cool to see. Like, they've highlighted all those things that we knew they would. Obviously power, speed, the smoothness, but then they're picking up on stuff that maybe isn't that top line most noticeable thing, and they're talking about that, which is cool to see, like the improvement on the charge ports, or just like the little things like the cable management. We have these clips at the back where it goes in, the finishes on motors of forged carbon that we didn't harp on about over and over in the marketing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's sort of passed over their heads, and now it's in front of them. They get to focus on that, which is...
They see it and they feel it and they get to use it. And the remote's been a huge one too. Yeah. Like, you know, that's like a certain huge standout feature. It's like, wow, you know, so good. You know, it's solid, it's strong, it's smooth, and it's quality, and it's like, you know, strong in the hand and heavy, and, you know, for a product costs that amount, you know, that's what the remote should be like. So it's been really good to see people really, you know, addressing those 1%ers, and because, man, we've spent so much time focusing on those user experiences and like the UI display and that whole firmware and the curve. So much time has gone into that, and it's just good to hear people's feedback and understand, you know, that it's not a GTR. You can't compare it. So it's good.
Yeah, like you said, the amount of effort that went in, it's so good that people are actually understanding it and picking up on what we're doing. The curve's a massive one.
Yeah.
Everyone notices that almost immediately. Like before power, before speed, that's what you feel. Yeah. And then combined with the new remote, the strong, it just feels natural. It feels
predictable,
good in the hand.
Yeah, there's definitely some of the comments is like predictable, and the quietness of the acceleration and brake, which is really good to see. And yeah, one of the things that we did leave out of the user manual, which I will probably modify and add that in, is we saw some feedback around plugging the charger in. So on our chargers, we changed the connector. We didn't stick to the D connector, and there's a very good reason for that, is because we didn't want any old customers trying to use different chargers, because it's a higher voltage battery, and we didn't want to blow the product up, so we had to make sure that the charger that we use is like a brand new.
You can't use a GTR charger for a Hadean.
No,
it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's on the GTR charger, it's like a D shape. On our new ones now, it's a round shape. And what we didn't put in the manual is the alignment of the markings. So for those guys, or girls, when you get the board, when you get the charger, keep note of the logos, and then you'll know what the orientation is. Every time it'll be a no-brainer. We're like, open, okay, there's a logo, bang, put it in.
I feel after you do it once or twice, you sort of get it. It's similar with GTR, really, because it's still a D shape. It had to be lined up correctly.
It did, but you could do it with your eyes closed. So you could just close your eyes and move it. Oh, there it is. Whereas this is round, so it's a lot harder. So that's why we had to put those logos in alignment. But we left that out of the manual. So we will put it in. And it definitely got noted on a customer review. And once we pointed that out, it was like, oh, yeah, get it.
Another thing that I've seen a bit of, and this is awesome, is people actually using the app. So there's a lot you can do with the Hadean in terms of changing the acceleration, the brake, the power curves. You can do the lights, and you can also set these custom modes.
Yes.
So to see people jumping in and actually dialing in their board to their needs, it's like, okay, they're using the product properly. This is exactly what we wanted. There was one guy who noted Corsa was too powerful. The acceleration was too sharp. He liked the power, but acceleration was too sharp. So he went through the app. He set a custom mode where he dialed it back 2 notches on acceleration.
So there's on the app, on the acceleration curve, there's 7 notches. So he went to 5, right?
Yep. Or if it was at 6 for Corsa, he might have gone down to 4.
Okay.
Which pretty much just takes the edge off the trigger.
That's exactly what it does. So it's a bit more forgiving at the start, but the power, if you didn't adjust the power, it's still exactly the same as Corsa.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's the point of custom mode.
Exactly.
So within the first week of this guy having it, he's figured out what's right for him.
Yeah.
And I'm sure over time he's going to play around with it even more.
Yeah, so that app, I tell you what, that has been difficult to get that whole new user experience, the new look, working out all those curves and how it all integrates into the new board. It's been a difficult process, but we've got it right for stage 1. It's a great product now. But we are going to keep working on this. We're going to keep making it better. And in the future, we've got plans to make, other sort of additions to it, which will sort of work better with the Hadean. So on the app down there, you got 3 custom modes, custom 1, 2, 3, and you can name them and you could set them. You could be like kids mode or like, max power race mode, or just like, endless carve mode. However, in our remote, there's only one custom choice. So I think this would be a good little product update for the future for our boards. And that's another thing we've been really working on too, is making sure that the app is going to be able to send proper, firmware updates to our Bluetooth, our motor controller, our remote. I think in a few months there'll be some new updates that we'll bring out to the board, which will make things a bit better. Hey, my favorite setting, and I have put this on my story a few times. If anyone's got the Hadeans out there, and all right, little tip: you want something that you want to keep the power to coarser, something a little bit more forgiving. Keep power to max 100%, acceleration number 5, and brake 4. Like, I find that is just a really comfortable ride, but a little bit more forgiving for the both acceleration and brake, but you still got the power. So I want to hear more people's feedback around the app, what settings they like, and are they using it?
Yeah, should check it out. I find that I just go from coarser to sport, regardless. So if I'm shredding, it's coarser, and it just seems to be perfect.
Yeah,
like there's one acceleration mode higher, and it just gets a little bit sharp for me. So I just ride in straight coarser mode, and it does everything I want.
Yeah, that's it. And like you said, then there's one acceleration mode more than coarser. So that doesn't necessarily mean there's more power. It's just where the acceleration kicks in on the curve. It just comes in a little bit sooner. So if anyone's out there, that's how it all works. Get on there, test it out, dial it back or dial it up, however you want. But it's just good to customize. And what is really good about this too is that, man, you've got full courser mode. It's like powerful, it can be aggressive. It's still smooth. But man, you can like dial this right back. Like, you've got eco, sport, Corsa, and custom. So really, if you want, you could go custom, less power than eco, and then adjust the curves again. So you could call that kids mode. You could get like a 4-year-old kid on the board and it'll have no power at all. So essentially, it's a very safe product, even for the absolute novice who's never ridden a board before. Yet it is like definitely designed for those that want more. So it's an interesting sort of mix. So it's certainly a product that you can grow into.
I was just in Dubai. There was a big trade show. It was a Dubai Motor Show, now called No Filter DBX. Pretty much one of the biggest shows happening in the world this year.
Insane, man.
Supercars, big boys toys, everything you can imagine. And we had a massive Evolve booth. And it was cool because we just started Evolve UAE this year, brand new. We got some guys over there we're working with as distribution.
Good team.
Awesome guys. They have experience in snowboards, cars, all that sort of stuff. So they went to town. We had this massive booth. The show was super accommodating because they liked the idea of electric transport. Yeah. And it was very consumer based. So there was just all these people, locals from Dubai, rolling in, and they'd never seen these things before. Yeah. It's a brand new thing for them. Yeah. And they all wanted a go. Like, they want to get their hands on it. They all wanted to ride it. Yep. But of course they don't have much experience at all. Yeah. So
maybe even not on any kind of skateboard.
No, they don't. Yeah. They do not. They've never been on a board. Some of them might have ridden a scooter or something like that. Yeah. But they were just really excited about having a go. And we were doing demos. There was 5 or 6 of us guys sort of slowly walking through how to do this. Yeah. Yep. And every time I saw someone that was very novice, we were getting 50, 60-year-old women, we were getting little kids. They all wanted to go. And if they were very shaky, I'd be looking around going, where's the Hadean? Yeah. where's the Hadean? I can put them on that, and I know because of the smoothness of it, the wider deck, all these things added up to actually being a more beginner-friendly board.
Yeah, okay.
Because of the smoothness.
And which mode were you using for that?
Eco mode.
Okay, yeah.
At the start, like they're using no trigger at all.
Yeah.
So no one was picking up any real speed. Yeah. We could have dialed it back further, but I found Eco was doing the job.
Yeah, I like using Eco mode like for if I got like a smooth road, endless, and I'm doing a range test or anything like that, like it still gets up to speed. It still goes fast, but it's just from 0 to 15. It takes a fair while to get there, and it's just this perfect curve. It's just smooth as there's not a single step in it, but it still can get up to speed. So holding a speed once you're in eco mode, it's great. It's the endless wave mode, I reckon.
Yeah, eco mode in the Hadean is not comparable to eco mode in the GTR. No. We have a rider over in Paris called Matt. He put up a post a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
And it was his first range test. And he did, I can't remember the numbers, but he did like 75% of the ride in eco mode.
Okay.
But it's not eco mode as you know it. You can still go 30 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, that's right.
You can still ride. It's not handicapped really. It doesn't go the full speed, but you can ride fast enough.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. And it's just so forgiving and so smooth, and especially when you're around that 25k an hour mark. Like if you just pull the trigger suddenly, it's not going to like, whoa, give you a buck or anything like that. You've just got that play in the curve.
Yeah. So I think that's something people got to get their heads around, that it's not classed as a baby mode. Like it's actually a super usable mode.
Yeah.
Especially if you're out on a massive ride and you have 25% left and quite a way to get home, you'll be able to switch to eco mode and not be disappointed in the ride. You'll be able to cruise at the full speed, still get your carbs, and it's going to get you home better without sort of ruining the ride.
So, man, I've been like, I'm so excited about, getting these boards out there. It's been a long journey just to this point. So the boards are finally getting out there. I'm seeing feedback starting to come in, and it's a really interesting time because there's a lot of people that see this just on paper and they've only seen some of our marketing, but the reality kicks in. Like you just need to try it, like to understand what the board's about.
There's a difference between describing a feeling and feeling a feeling. That's the thing. It's a feeling. No one talking about it, no article, no review is actually going to capture that. And I've been traveling around a bit and meeting a lot of people, and I've had a Hadean with me the whole time. So I've been putting people on the board constantly. And that's something I'm hearing over and over again. I didn't think it'd be like that. I didn't think it would be like that. I knew it was going to be good, but I couldn't imagine what the feeling was actually going to be like. So, yeah, you're dead right with that.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. So, yeah, we're pretty stoked. This is the next chapter of Revolve. It's like literally just starting, even though it feels like it's been forever, which it has. And the Hadean project's just sort of really kicking off now to the next stage.
Yeah, mass exposure. Another one that's cool is retailers, some of our retail partners, actual skate shops.
Yeah.
Now, these are guys that might have been selling Evolve for 4 or 5 years, very familiar with the product, but because of restrictions or whatever, we haven't actually been able to get to them, do the usual demos. So the first time they actually got to experience it was when their customers' boards arrived and they got to ship them out. And I know there was some excitement on their behalf because same thing, they didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, Trav sent me a text last night, and one of our retailers over in the UK, the guys in Fleet snowboard shop, and
they would have freaked out.
Yeah, I saw the post and they were like, "Oh man, I can't wait to ride this beast." And they didn't show any videos of them riding or that kind of feedback, but it was just there in the flesh finally, and turned upside down, the lights on, and they could see all the beautiful forged
that's it.
carbon.
Ben Buckler boards, 12 board store here in Australia. I know they've put up things like, look at this remote.
Yeah.
This is an amazing. Look at the screen. Look what it does. Or the bottom of the board. Like once they can actually see it up close, it's super exciting. Let alone riding the thing.
Yeah. So those guys who've got the forged carbon, little tip, on a sunny day, get the carbon out there, turn it upside down, and just have a real good look at it. Because when the sun shines on that, oh man, it's just beautiful. You can see just the layer and the different shapes, and it's just beautiful. It's just so different.
I was over in New York just like a week and a half ago, and we were riding through the streets, and we just happened to pass Last Mile, which is like one of the biggest personal mobility shops. So
in New York.
New York. So I'm like, I'll go in, check it out. They got the Evolve boards on the wall. The staff were like super cool. They came over and they're like, is that a Hadean?
Oh, right. So true. First time they'd seen it?
We did do a demo there, but I don't think those staff got to go to the demo.
Okay.
So I think the owner and a couple did, but those particular ones didn't. So I'm like, you wanna ride it? And one of the guys, he's a skater, scooter, bike dude.
Yeah.
He just got on in Corsa. He came back with a massive smile on his face. He loved it. And he's like, it makes a lot more sense to have this here in New York because it's smooth and predictable.
Yeah.
And then we had customers just walking in randomly. There was 2 different e-skaters walked in.
Right. Evolve customers or different?
One was an Evolve customer and one guy was on a boosted.
Yep. Cool.
I think there was a one-wheeler as well. And then
give him a go?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
the Evolve guy walked in and his eyes lit up. Like it's like they're seeing something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, yeah.
And then again, do you want to ride? He's like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And that was his words too. He's like, I knew it was better than the GTR, but I didn't think the gap was that big.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I didn't think it'd be that much different. So now I think Last Mile is probably going to get an order because he was super stoked.
Good.
And then the poor old boosted guy, like, I'm like, this, just warning, it's not the same thing. It's a world of difference.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a lot for him.
Oh, classic. Yeah, well, I guess, we've done all this marketing. There's so much talk around it. It's been a long time. The boards is finally shipping. So, I guess it's going to enter the next phase at the end of the day, especially for USA. Next week, that's it.
It's coming USA.
I know.
So there are actually a few accessories out already for the Hadean, and some are coming pretty soon. Do you want to run us through what they are? Yeah,
definitely. So on the Hadean series, we've got brand new hubs and we've got 3 new colours, and they look great. They've landed in Australia and a few other locations. So if you go online now, we haven't really been doing any sort of social media pushes or anything like that, but they're here. The colours are great. I love the sort of the tan colour. Like it's this sort of green colour. It's on my board. I love it. Got bash guards as well.
While we're on the hubs, do you know how long people have been asking for red hubs for?
Yeah, I know.
Red goes fast. They want red. Okay. So we got red.
We got red. We got blue. We got the tan. We also have this oil slick coming. It's not here yet, but that's going to be here soon. It looks great on the Hadean as well. Bash guards for the big motors. Yep, they're here. They look great, especially with off-road tires. It really gives it that tough look. And a big one, which we're really excited about, is that we've got new prism strip lights for the bamboo Hadeans. So this is very different to the prism strips that were on the GTRs. We've had to make custom connectors, and the reason why we've had custom connectors because there's a communication module in there, which then allows to work as a brake light. Not only can you now use your remote, you can select the colors just like you can on the carbons. So this is how we've designed the prism strips. So it's all going to work exactly like the carbons, but now on the LED strips, and it's got brake light. So it's
got brake lights. You can change the colors via the remote.
Yep, via the remote, via the app. It's all that. It's really does exactly what the carbon does, but on a strip.
Yeah, and they're bigger, so it's probably it will have more lights than the carbon
It's
board.
true. Yeah, they're longer.
Yeah, so exciting for people to look forward to.
So they're going to be ready next week, and I think we're going to receive them in about sort of 2 weeks' time. So all those Bamboo Hadean owners, you've got lights on your case, but you're about to get these big rad strips. So I dare say everyone who owns a Bamboo Hadean, you're going to just love this.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the emails. When they're landed, we'll email you and say, hey, these are what's available for you if you want them.
Yeah.
Bling out your board.
Exactly. Yeah, everyone loves bling. So it's certainly going to glow like a Christmas tree at night.
Happy days. Well, if you're in the USA and you're waiting on your Hadean, it's not going to be too long now.
That's it.
Other than that, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Happy days.